Welcome, everyone. We are live. Yay! It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday, and your girl is dressed and ready for work. Now, it was suggested that I go live with my face. It was suggested. I don't know how I feel about that. And I know where it was told from, it would bring better engagement, better numbers. People feel that they can trust you because they can see your face. I'm not about that life. I will show my face when the mood strikes to do so. It's early in the morning. I'm at the kitchen table and, you know, the water is just about to boil. Big Mike, ow. Listen, remember we read last night at your command. We start at chapter 7 tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard if you want to catch it with us, because it was fire. That's all I'm going to say. But what I wanted to encourage you to do is to keep track. Keep track of your progress. Normally, when we have journals, some people bitch and moan and complain in their journals. Oh my God, my life is blah, 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 blah. No. Use your journal, perhaps, to keep track of your progress. When you go to the grocery store and you have a grocery list, at least for me, I have my calculator, I have my little tiny pencil, and my list. And as I put the number into the calculator, I cross it off the list. Yes. Why? Because you want to know that you've got everything on the list. You don't want to leave and say, oh my God, you get halfway home and you forgot something. No, keep track. Pay attention. Pay attention to your progress, because when you begin to see your progress, I wonder what happens to you. You increase your faith. Heaven forbid. Of course you do. You increase your faith, your confidence in your skill of being deliberate. Let me pour this water on my tea bag. Hold on. But you know what I'm saying to you, right? Ah, there you go. Hot tea. Hot herbal tea. Then you keep track of your progress. When you say, look, I wanted to make this change in my life. Day one, I still kind of feel crummy, but I'm trusting the process. Day two, and you write down what happened in that day. How many times did you have to redirect yourself to where you wanted to be? Count, keep track. Why? Because when you start keeping track, you'll notice, because you will have written it down, it took me 80 times to put myself back in the right frame of mind, the right mood. It took me 30 times. It took me 2 times. It took me 40. You see what I'm saying? When you see your progress, you can see how you are applying yourself. It's quite like when we were needling, learning how to needle in class in our first year, I think. When we were learning how to needle each other, our professor would come around and he said, we gotta be more oblique on this. Let me show you. So he'd pop the needle out and thread it like a master. And you're like, well, I want to do that. And he would always say, practice. So you would practice on your classmates. And some people's touch was lighter. Some people's touch was heavier. Some people made you really feel that needle. Other people, you couldn't feel the needle, right? So all in all, each person, as they needled and they were needled, they began to comprehend where they were, how to auto-correct themselves. And of course, my professor would always use me as the example for, the anxious one in class. And he did this point in my hand You know, if you make a fist, a gentle fist, and your pinky falls right where it's gonna fall when you make that fist right there, yeah, right in the palm of your hand. Heart 8, between the two metacarpal bones. When he put that needle in there, I went from 100 to 0 in 2.5 seconds flat. It just mellows you right out. Heart 8. It calms the heart mind. And so I grew to learn through practice of needling. 'Cause you can needle yourself in that spot if you're right-handed or left-handed, right? You can needle yourself. And what did I learn? Every day that I went to class and I had to needle my classmates or they had to needle me, I kept track of my progress. Am I getting my angles right? Every day. Because if you do not keep track, how will you know what you have learned? You notice keeping track doesn't say judge. It says keep track. Are you applying the principles? Are you holding to the faith? This is what you are practicing to do. So the more you practice and you observe yourself, you can say, oh, I caught myself before I engaged in something foolish. Oh, I caught myself after I felt like I was a bum. I caught myself after I felt like I was a jerk. I felt myself when I was really feeling, on top of the world. I caught my mood. Yeah. That's what you do when you keep track of what you are dealing with on a daily basis. When you keep track, you can say things to yourself like, oh, wait a minute. That would have hurt me. On a scale of 0 to 10, it did, but a 3. Last week I was at a full-on 11. Then you'll begin to notice that you move further and further away from your triggers. Why? Because that's not where your attention is. Your attention is, where am I progressing with holding to the faith of what I hold to be true? That's the difference. Get it? That's why you keep track. You keep track to see, oh, I can correct myself here. And how are you keeping track? You could journal if you like. For me, I get these little notepads from Dollarama. They're like these little tiny notepads, just blank. And I would, um, when I do that, I would put a little line on the paper. So I would tell myself every time I feel ... I'm going to draw this little line. And so every time I caught myself feeling in that way, I would draw the line. When I get to 9 or 8, I'd put a line through it, and that would be 9. Multiply by 9, life is easy. So at the end of however long, I can look at that sheet of paper and I'm like, holy cow, that had my attention this much? And I would write the date on the top because that's how much it had my attention. And then I'd get up the following day and I would do it again. Practice, practice, practice. Where's your mind? Because you'll find you will begin to see the space between where you used to give in and where you now conquer. Meaning what? You begin to feel the space between losing your cool, keeping your cool. You're moving between losing your cool and keeping your cool, depending on what you put on that paper, what you said you wanted to do. So if you say, I am calm, what does that feel like? You ask yourself, what does it feel like to be calm? And as soon as you recognize what it feels like in your body to be calm, you say, that's what I want to feel. Every time I feel calm, I want to know. And you write it down on the paper over and over and over again. That's what's so beautiful about it, right? Over and over again. And this is how you keep track, because when you keep track of your progress, you will build your confidence naturally. You don't have to say, well, I'm confident and I'm going to boost my confidence. How do you boost your confidence? Confidence is the effect of what? Your progress. When you can see how you are progressing and moving forward, your confidence grows naturally. Even if you say that you have faltered or that quote unquote you have failed, you will notice where you messed up. And then what will you do? You'll correct yourself, thereby doing what? Increasing your confidence and your faith in your skill. We do it all the time. You train at a new job, right? The moment your trainer says, peace out, now you get to come to work and walk in what you've learned. See what you do it all the time. You start driving, you learn how to drive. Every day you practiced and you got out on the road and you drove. You see, we do it all the time. I'm not telling you to keep track because I'm bored. I'm telling you to keep track because we already do it. The difference is you're now paying attention deliberately to how you keep track and what it makes you feel like. Here's an exercise that if you were not with us last night for the bedtime story, here's an exercise that we did. I am and beginning to feel that I am. I can put my hand on this mug and I'm going to tell you it is hot. I am aware that it is hot. So if I pick it up, I got to blow on it. Cool it down a little bit. Right? I'm aware that it is hot. That's what you're doing today for your exercise. Being aware of what? You. How do you become aware of you? Watch yourself. Show me what you're working with. That's what you're doing. You're watching yourself. So, like I gave them the example last night, I'm sitting on the chair. I can feel my butt on the chair. When you pick up the phone, who's picking up the phone? Well, I'm picking up the phone, am I not? So, what does that feel like when you pick up the phone? So, now when you talk to somebody, how does that feel? Where are you coming from when you talk to them? Do you feel the subtle change between the people that you talk to? Now you're keeping track of you. Not the situation, but of you. The situation is there. And you're just paying attention to how you respond in the situation. So that way you can say, oh, I feel ... I feel a little bit, a little antsy. I'm getting a little riled up. Like you feel it. Keep track. Because when you keep track of your progress, when you keep track of what you are doing, you will begin to get an understanding, a deeper comprehension of who and what you are. Day in and day out, you're going to do it. Instead of walking through the world talking about, I feel ... I'm so mad. But you're like, wait, you don't even know how you got there. You don't even know what made you mad. You don't even know what made you happy. It is in your best interest to know. This is why you practice the art of self-observation. In other words, you practice keeping track of you. Indeed. We keep track of the temperature. Speaking of which, I don't know what it is right now, but we're going to find out. We'll find out. We keep track. We have apps for things. We keep track. 0 degrees. Ooh, that is snow weather. Oh my God. We have apps for everything and we keep track, but we don't keep track deliberately. You just let the app do it for you, right? Or the app will do it. And this is why an algorithm can know you better than you know yourself. This is why the algorithm can suggest to you what to purchase, what you will like. And then we ask the question, oh my God, how would they know that? Because they spend their time watching you. All I'm asking you to do is watch yourself. Learn yourself. Learn your comings and your goings. Learn your beginnings and your endings. Learn your highs and your lows, your happies and your sads. Learn them. Because when you learn through observation, without judgment, who and what you are, now you can correct. You can say to yourself, oh, I don't like that habit, or wait a minute, I really like this that I'm doing over here. Let me lean in and do more of this. Listen, when you're working with a strategist, what do you think the strategist does? Goes straight to your analytics. Why? Because the analytics will tell you what the person is doing. It'll say, well, look, your click-through rate is this. Listen, I still don't know what a click-through rate is, but I'm learning. When did they swipe away? How long did you hold their attention? And when you see where you held their attention, they go back to that video and they slide into the video and they say, here's what you said and did that held their attention. Do more of that. So you're going to let a strategist, you're going to pay a strategist because we do. Why? Because they are objective. They only have one goal, and that one goal is what? Get you out to as many people as possible. Increase your dollar bills. That's their job. So their job is observation, and they get paid handsomely to observe you. So I am saying to you today, observation is not something that, oh my God, that's so new. No, it is not. You want to learn someone? Watch them. So if you want to learn you, well, then the solution is to what? Keep track of what you are doing. Oh, but it seems tedious, doesn't it? But here's the end result. What is it that you want to know about yourself? Then watch yourself to learn it. Why do you want to learn it? So that you can do what? Get better at something. Get better at knowing yourself. Get better at being your best self. That's what you want, is it not? So is that not enough to stimulate you? To make you say, well, I am interesting. Oh, yes, I am. Let me, that's right. Let me get myself together. Let me watch me. Let me see what my good qualities are. Because here's what happens when you look for the good qualities in yourself. You find them and you be more of them. So if you're busy being more good qualities, I wonder where the bad qualities are. They tend to fade. Why? Because things wither and die for want of attention. Doubt me? Stop watering that houseplant. Don't give it no attention, meaning water, talk to it, stroke its leaves. It'll die. Oh, yes, it shall. So if you spend the time focused where you deliberately want to be focused, you will change your life. You will change your life, and your inner guru will emerge. Oh, indeed, it shall. Oh, but Angela, what if I'm just fooling myself? God is not mocked. Whatever does that mean? It means as within, so without. So whatever you truly believe yourself to be is what you will see in your world. How will you know? You will say something along the lines of, nothing is changing. I'm still the same. Why would you still be the same? Because you're still doing the same thing and pretending that you're not. But there's no judgment in that because we all do it. We all do it. So that is why honesty, learning how to be honest with yourself will help you in more ways than you can possibly imagine. So step one, make a determination because you're looking at your life and you'll say, but I want to be dot, dot, dot. Just whatever that thing is you want to be, just name it. That's what you want to be? Fine. How does it feel that you're that thing? How would it make you feel if you were that thing? Oh, begin to. We don't like pigs, right? But I'm going to use the analogy. People say happier than a pig in mud. You ever watch them roll around in it just for shits and giggles? And they're just frolicking and they're as happy as they can be. You know why they do it though? To cool themselves down from the heat. But I digress. That's why they do it. Horses do the same thing. They roll around in the dirt. Chickens do the same thing. Why? Because it feels good and it keeps them healthy. So let that be your level of excitement to learn who you are, just for the thrill of it, to discover your greatness. That's what you do every day. That is step one. Recognize, wait, whoa, whoa, I don't want to be that, but I want to be this. And as you observe yourself, you will begin to see that the internal, for who you say you are, it will begin to match what you see on the outside for your thoughts, your words, your behavior. Coherence. You are now one. You're who you say you are, and the evidence of who you say you are now match. Oh. And then you'll stop saying things like, well, I never get what I want. My life is never changing. It is always the same. And you will realize what that means. And you won't judge yourself. You'll just simply say, oh, that means my internal doesn't match my external. Well, that means what am I missing? What am I not seeing? And you will sit there and you will look and you will see, oh my goodness, I've been trying to fool myself. Good try though. Let's do it again. Let's try again. Let's practice. Who do I say that I am? And the reason I tell you to do it is because sometimes in our lives, we may hear, you're no good. You're a loser. You're a jerk. You're this, you're that. Oh, you're fake. You may hear those things in your life. Shoot, you may not hear them from somebody on the outside, but you may hear them from that nagging little voice in the back of your head. We call it imposter syndrome, is what we call it. But if you spend your time to practice, you'll hear a lie and you'll know that it's not the truth. Why? Why would you know what the truth is? Because you've spent your time cultivating the truth in yourself. So when somebody wants to cut you down and insult you, you're like, meh. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. That's how you feel about you, honey, because it's not me. And keep it moving, right? You see, there's a bigger picture here. Your life improves on so many levels when you watch yourself and become truly self-aware. My father's been saying that to me for years. Man, know thyself. Listen, I had Afro puffs and he looked me in the eye and said, man, know thyself. And I was like, man, you're a man. I'm a girl. But that's not what he meant. Man doesn't mean male. Man means human, humanity. So, man, you must always know yourself. It is the first principle. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Thus, you must always know who and what you are, because that is the foundation that everything in your life is built upon. Who you say you are. So, don't you think it is time, my beautiful friends? Don't you think it is time to discover who and what you are? And we always talk about, he didn't spend the time to get to know me. She didn't spend the time to get to know me. You didn't spend the time to get to know you. How's somebody gonna know you when you don't know you? Huh? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. For real. So take the time to know you, and you will begin to see how beautiful you really are. Even the side of you that says, man, I could cuss somebody out in 30 seconds or less. Know that about yourself. Don't be surprised by it. Know it. Because then you'll begin to know what knowing feels like. Angela? Yes, you'll begin to know what knowing feels like. Well, how do you mean? Then you say, I know that. You won't have to convince yourself, but you will know what knowing feels like because you spent time knowing. And then you'd recognize, wait, I don't know that. You see, when you know something, there's a level of confidence and surety that comes when you know a thing. And that's the only place we live from, the surety and the knowing of something. Because it is who you are. Right? We don't live from our doubts. No, we don't. We live from what we know. So when you spend some time getting to know you, you will know. So that when you walk out into the world and you interact with people, and you call it intuition, right? You see what knowing is? Intuition. I told you, we have too many fancy words. Intuition. It's just inner knowing. But how do you get to know? Observation. So the next time you go out into the world, who are you? Do you know how you are showing up in the world? You don't know. Watch how people treat you and you'll know how you show up. Why? Because as within, so without. Ah, I'm done hollering at you. I'm done. Who's on Twitter today? Nobody. Twitter is Twitter. And that's all right. Look who's on YouTube today. Hey, Aina. How you doing? It is so good to see you, love. Big Mike is in the house. Now, those are the ones who've made themselves known to me in the chat this morning here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I don't know. They haven't said anything to me yet, but I see you. I see you. Who's on fan base kicking it with us? Amelie, Amelie. Oh, Amelie is here. Um, I'm not just a mother. Oh, I'm not just a mother. Well, hello. I'm not just a mother either, right? You see, when you can say, I'm not just a mother, well, then what else are you? See, sounds like somebody who took some time to know themselves. Ow. Who else is here? Burnt Moni. I see you. Hey, Ashley. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, honey. Miss McQueen. Good morning. Morning, darling. Top of the morning to you. Flo Smiles, girl. We've been playing tag all weekend. You're it. Oracle Treehouse. I see you. And the lovely Casey. Let me pop into this chat here just to make sure. Yeah. Hey, I'm not just a mother says she loves this because all my circles are preaching the same thing. Well, then, if everything is saying the same thing, then it's you. Because you're the common denominator, which means you've been seeking and learning and delving into who and what you are. And all you're seeing is the confirmation of what you are doing on the inside. But you know how it is. You know how it is. Well, on this glorious Tuesday, I'm dressed and ready for work. My tea is just right. Doesn't burn my lips. Yeah, it's a good tea, you know? And so the encouragement is this: keep track of your progress. Turn your attention to or polarize yourself where you want to be instead of polarizing yourself about what is wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with you, right? Ain't nothing wrong with you. So turn your attention towards what is good about you. Last time I checked, it said in scripture, whether you believe scripture or not, that's where the law is hidden. So last time I checked, it said God looked at what it made and it was good. That didn't change. It is good. So there's goodness in you. So polarize yourself towards the good. Why would you polarize yourself towards the good? Because when you polarize yourself towards the good, polarize, what's that mean? It means lean in the direction that you want to be in. Pull yourself in the direction that you want to be in. Why? Because where you put your attention, that is what will grow. How do you know? Listen, winter is coming swiftly, might I add, and I will have to be shoveling the snow. Mhm. Where do you want to put that snow? Don't put it in the road because it piles up. Put it on the lawn because then you don't get stuck when you're parking. Right? So where's your attention? Move yourself in that direction. So where do you want the pile? Shovel and put it over there. Every time you scrape, lift, toss, scrape, lift, toss. Put it where you want it to be. That's what you do when you're observing yourself. Look for the good. Oh, but Angela, it might be trying to find a needle in a haystack. Pull a Tony Stark and say, take a magnet. Because what you're doing, looking for the needle. You already know there's a ton of hay. So don't complain about the hay. Take the magnet. Put your attention where you want it to be for the best that you want to draw out of yourself. Because I'm telling you right now, there's always something for us to complain about. Trust me, I know. How do I know? I'm trying to get a refund on my PhD in complaining. I want to say, take it back. I don't want it anymore. That's how come I know. But I digress. Okay, I digress. It is time for us to chime in. We might get chicken today. I don't know. We might get a little bit of crowing. He was already up early this morning talking about he's singing. But you sound good though, baby. I love your singing. I do. Don't get me wrong. I love your singing. You could chime in anytime you want to, handsome. I swear, if he could cuss me, he would. But that's my baby. That's my Roo. Let me get the chime. And as you hear the chime this morning, make that commitment to yourself. Make the commitment to yourself. You may have to get up and do it 50 times. Who cares? Get up and do it. Because sooner rather than later, you will reap your harvest of what you have put your attention towards. So let me get this chime, the morning chime. Come, honey, come. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you today. And as you go forth into the world, keep track. Keep track of who and what you are, my beautiful friends. Now, I gotta be quick. There you go. Twitter, peace out. I'll see y'all tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you want to fall asleep with us. We are continuing with Chapter 7 from At Your Command by Neville Goddard. Twitter is closed. YouTube, I'm gonna catch